Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. I'm gonna be honest, guys. That title was not clickbait. You read it right. There has been a gun confiscation team founded in Chicago this week by the police and emerging with the ATF. If you do not believe me, I have linked it in the description box below for the article for yourself. It is referencing a news press release from the CPD, or the Chicago Police Department. This is big news. It sent shivers down my spine, guys. This is the left endgame. And if you do not believe me, hang in here for 5 minutes. I'm going to walk you through this entire thing, and you tell me through at any point in the comments below if you believe it is gun confiscation or if it is not. And if, oh my God, you've got to share this out. This is important. This is really important. This is the endgame. All right, so the article that we're referencing, here we go. New police task force will target illegal gun sellers and trace every gun taken in by Chicago Police Department, or the CPD. Police hope the task force can prevent gun violence in Chicago, which has risen during the pandemic. Which is interesting because Chicago is a gun-free zone after all. It just happens to have the highest gun violence in the entire planet, including Iraq. No big deal. Ignore facts. Here we go. I'm going to get spicy. Just fair warning. Chicago. A new police task force will target gun traffickers in a bid to prevent gun violence in Chicago. And this is how the slippery slope starts. They always sell it this way. We're going to attack the gun traffickers because it's their problem. It's obviously the problem is somewhere else. It can't be our policies, because our policies are golden because we made them up. It's got to be some other external stimuli, because it can't be our ideas, because we are good. Here we go. All right. But it doesn't sound so bad when this slippery slope starts. But listen to this. Listen to where this goes. The Gun Investigations Team was created this week. Officers will investigate people who are selling guns illegally and straw buyers who bring the weapons to Chicago, according to a police news release. Okay, that's the same old game of, well, we have gun control here in Chicago, and that's perfectly fine, and it works. But the big meanies are Indiana and Kentucky and all those states where people have lax gun laws, and they can import those guns, and that's what makes Chicago so bad. Meanwhile, all those places that they're referencing have nowhere near the amount of gun violence where all the guns are from, air quotes. But Chicago's gun, I can't. You guys know the facts. That's not what we're talking about here. But now let's talk about to the next sentence. They'll also trace all guns that are taken in by police and investigate when people have their firearm owner identification card revoked. Now, if you live in a state that resembles freedom, you don't have an FOID card. But in Chicago, you have to apply for a license to have a firearm, own it. And you have to have it on you just like a driver's license. It's a little laminated card, just like a driver's license. Fees, it can expire just like a concealed carry can, and it can also be revoked through all the red flag law shenanigans that we talked about on this channel almost ad nauseum earlier this year. Now, that sounds, even if you were like the least alarmist person ever, like, well, it sounds like they do need to investigate it, and if there is a revocation of the FOID card, even though it's unconstitutional and against the Bill of Rights and the Second Amendment, no big deal. We should look into that. Okay, here we go. If you still don't believe this is gun confiscation, check this out. Here we go. Those moves are expected to help officers intercept and recover guns that would otherwise end up in the hands of violent criminal offenders, according to police. So the FOID card gets revoked or expires, which is a legal thing in Chicago. Now you have the ability to intercept and recover guns that would otherwise end up in the hands of violent criminal offenders, because you're assuming that those guns would be now in the hands of violent offenders because an FOID card is no longer valid, which is already unconstitutional, which is why it's working its way through the court system. And it's going to end up at the Supreme Court. And, you know, you're probably, even at this point, you're saying, no, that's not gun confiscation. That's nothing to be worried about. That's just Chicago. It gets worse. All right, here we go. The task force has Chicago police officers as well as officers from the Firearms Investigations Team and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, according to a police news release. So now you've got local officers and you have federal officers. They can now go across state lines. They can do things in different states because you have the ATF involved, which is federal. If at some point you are now not worried and freaking out, and you say, no, that's not gun confiscation, it's only, like, that's just a thing, they have the ability, they won't do it, they still have local court systems and jurisdictions, it gets even worse. I know, this is one of those. The agents will work with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office to get charges against people who traffic guns, according to police. Now, if you're going back to the FOID issue up here that we talked about earlier, That means now you not only have a police presence that can handle local situations and federal through the ATF, you now also have the entire judicial prosecuting section of the attorney's offices of the state of, well, really, it's Cook County, so that's the city of Illinois. I mean, city of Chicago. See, I'm getting all frazzled. City of Chicago in Illinois, that's Cook County. And then you have U.S. district attorneys. Let's see, district attorneys? Excuse me, just U.S. Attorney's Office. You now have federal on both, the enforcement and also the prosecutorial. If this is not gun confiscation and the far left final end game, I don't know what is. This is how the slippery slope starts. You start at just everyone to be safe, and then it's an extra safety measure, and it's everyone else's fault. Now federal is involved, and now we can recover and investigate guns that shouldn't be in those wrong hands because they're criminals. By the way, if your FOID card expires and you own those guns, you're now a criminal. Do you see where I'm going? So let me know in the comments down below, guys. Was I exaggerating? Was I crazy town? Or is this right out of gun confiscation? I'm just saying. Let me know in the comments down below. And until tomorrow, I'm Braden. See you later.